Good morning, guys. A very, very extremely bright morning. Very bright morning. Um, she's meowing because she sees a shadow against the wall, I guess. Anyway, let's go on ahead and get started. How to stop when you are full. To start with, what in the world is the definition of full? I used to know no end to fullness. It seemed as if I could eat all day and not get full. I know that slightly full meant that I had to take off my belt. Moderately full meant I had to take off all my clothes and put on my robe. And painfully full meant that the only position I could get in was horizontal. Those are the full sensations, right? Well, not anymore. Full is a very polite feeling. In fact, when you are approaching fullness, you can still bend over and reach down and pick up your napkin off the floor without losing all your food. Then you can be sure that you are not overfull. It is also a good sign that you can leave your clothes on, especially your belt. If you think that you are having trouble with going beyond the polite full feeling, then maybe a few tips will help you. The best advice is to slow down your eating until your heart's desire has changed so that it is repulsive and too painful to eat beyond full. The habit of eating fast developed as you became more magnetized to the refrigerator. It does not take food lovers long to learn that the faster they eat, the more food they can get down before it is too painful. This is a choice. Keep in mind if you are having difficulty with stopping, perhaps it is because you have spent years obeying the food. Now is the time to reverse that behavior and take control over the food. To help learn how to slow down, let us first look at why we should slow down. It seems that many of us have used poor role models for how we are to eat. The average meal is consumed inside 3 minutes. Let us just follow food through the digestive tract and see what happens when we eat very quickly. Here are the major stops food takes on the way into the bloodstream. First, the food goes down your esophagus. As you swallow, 2 sets of muscles will push the food downward. This looks similar to the waves you see when a snake eats. At the base of the esophagus and stomach are the closures. A sphincter is a circular ring of muscles that can close tightly. The esophageal sphincter regulates the passage of food through the upper digestive tract. If you eat too fast, then you could possibly eat beyond fullness because your food has not had sufficient time to be digested and sent into the bloodstream. So slow it down. Savor your food bite by bite. Another problem you might encounter occurs when you eat only solid foods at the mealtime and then drink liquids afterward. Keep in mind that your food must be diluted with water before your stomach can digest it. The more solids you eat, the more water the stomach needs. This fluid can come from the bloodstream, or your thirst mechanism may cause you to drink more fluids. The bottom line is that you need to drink or sip between bites. This really helps keep you from getting too full. You need to know that fatty foods will float to the top of the stomach and their presence will slow down digestion. It takes approximately 20 minutes for the brain to detect the replenished blood sugar, but a skilled thin eater will notice a full stomach pouch and a decreased sensitivity to the flavor of the food. I've gotten to the point that I can tell when food just doesn't appeal to me anymore. When you develop your skills for recognizing the full feeling and stopping when you are full, you will be able to eat faster if you want to. You will learn to recognize when you are approaching full, even if you eat fast. Our goal is not to slow you down in eating. Our goal is to help you to not stuff yourself once you lose the greed for food. We do not care how you eat. That is between you and your mother. What happens when you frequently stuff the stomach? You get indigestion or heartburn, or the acid refluxes into the esophagus. As we have said before, under normal conditions, food remains in the stomach until the acidity reaches a pH of 1.5. This is very acidic, much like battery acid. Then it will start to empty. The food will be allowed out of the stomach and into the small intestine. When you overload the stomach by eating too fast, your body is unable to manufacture enough neutralizing base to offset the extra acid the stomach produces to digest the food. That is the reason why overeaters frequently get ulcers in the duodenum and heartburn in the esophagus. Acidic food literally refluxes out of both ends of the stomach, causing pain. Most people who faithfully start the Ray Down workshop never have any more pain associated with eating. I don't, not anymore. Next, the small, broken down particles move through vessels to the liver. The liver is a chemical factory that is capable of turning what you eat into the substances your body needs. If you happen to swallow a trace amount of a chemical that the body does not like, such as a pesticide, then the liver traps it and breaks it down, preventing it from entering your normal bloodstream or damaging your liver. But the usual food particles are passed on by your liver to the heart, where they will be pumped all over the body. Once the food particles enter the regular bloodstream, your feeling is one of fullness and satisfaction. Your stomach may feel full 5 minutes after a quick meal, but that truly satisfied feeling, which comes from nutrients hitting the normal bloodstream, may take another 10 minutes. Children digest food much faster than adults and feel like playing right after a meal. That is okay, let them. However, when adults eat too much, they feel lethargic. Blood and water rush to the stomach to digest the huge amount of food. This leaves less blood for the brain and other parts of the body. It takes a lot of energy to digest huge meals, especially after overindulgence, since the food has to be converted to fats and shipped to the hips. Do not join those who drink too much wine or gorge themselves on meat, for drunkards and gluttons become poor, and drowsiness clothes them in rags. Proverbs 23:20-21. If you will eat smaller amounts, you will not have this problem. You will have less heartburn, fewer ulcers, and more energy. Yeah, I have experienced that myself personally. This is so true. I am so thankful I don't have to take Nexium anymore, and I can lay down in any position I want when I go to sleep. I love it. I love it. No more sitting up in bed to make sure that I don't end up with reflux, and still ended up with reflux. God is so awesome. The golden calf, this is phase 2. As you go through the journey in the desert, you may see several things about your heart that had not occurred to you before. Just what you are giving your heart to is something only God knows. This hot desert acts as an X-ray machine, revealing the inner workings of the heart. So we find we have been bowing down to the refrigerator. The New Testament talks about greed as idolatry. Put to death, therefore, whatever things belongs to your earthly nature: sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed, which is idolatry. Colossians 3:5. Why is greed idolatry? Greed is idolatry in that we are trying to get things for ourselves. We do not believe in our hearts that there is a loving God who will meet all of our needs, and we certainly do not believe that He satisfies our wants. What if God does not have good taste in foods or material possessions? Who would want to include God on a shopping spree? He may not let us have upscale brand name shoes. And what do we know of God's timing? Perhaps His watch is broken, or He is helping people on the other side of the world. We do not want to bother Him with details. We may think, to get in good with God, it will be best not to bother Him until we need the big stuff, right? Wrong. That thinking led the Israelites to create their own false god. Remember the story we told earlier about the golden calf? The Israelites wanted to get out of the desert fast. Moses had ascended a mountain to receive God's laws on stone tablets. When the people saw that Moses was so long in coming down from the mountain, they gathered around Aaron and said, "Come, make us gods who will go before us." So all the people took off their earrings and brought them to Aaron. He took what they handed him and made it into an idol cast in the shape of a calf. Exodus 32, 1a, 3 through 4a. When considerable time had passed and the Israelites did not see Moses coming, so as not to bother God and in case his watch was broken, they made a golden calf to help speed things up. Of course, Israel's worship of the golden calf made God angry. Moses himself, angry, threw down the tablets God had made, breaking them. The Israelites had to wait another 40 days for Moses as he replaced them. We are no different from the Israelites. We too are willing to give up our jewelry to keep paying for our false gods, false helpers. We carve out an exercise diet pill regimen to speed up our journey because we do not want to eat less food. We say, don't tell Gwen, but let's mix Ray down with diet pills to get us out of this desert faster. You will only stay in the desert longer because your heart does not want to eat less food. Many will attempt mixing diuretics with Ray Down Workshop. This may give them a false sense of security, but they should realize that diuretics could damage their kidneys. We hope false gods will save us, but they will get us nowhere. Can false gods take away our desire to overeat? They cannot. Truth bears out that our false gods sabotage us rather than save us. Trying to worship God and food at the same time will not work. Praise God. I got worshiping God last night, really considering the wonderful things that He has done for me so far through this journey. And you know, the one thing that I came to realize, the Ray Down is just a starting tool. Once you get into the Ray Down, you learn the principles of eating when hungry and stopping when satisfied. And you get deeper into God, and it gets to the point that the Ray Down no longer truly exists, but instead you're more into God and God exists. So I am to the point now, even though I'm still doing the Ray Down plan, in truthfulness, it's God's plan. And the Ray Down just got me started. It taught me what I needed to know to get started. And I had to read the book a few times all the way through, because when I first done the Ray Down, I only read phase 1. I completely skipped phase 2. I didn't want to read about the desert. And so therefore, when the temptation came into the house, I gave in, because I didn't allow myself to go through that journey in the desert with God. But now, because I'm also reading phase 2, and I'd read phase 2 when I read the book a second time, and I read it all the way through. But this time, going through it the third time, phase 2 has so much more meaning to me now than it did when I finally did read it. So now I am going through the desert of testing, and I am moving along as Satan tempts me and tests me to give in to binging and overeating. I rebuke him. I refuse him. I do not give in. I continue on. And the things that God is showing me and doing for me while I'm in this desert is marvelous. It's magnificent. And I came to realize last night as I was talking to God, no matter what diet is out there, no matter what man-made diet is out there, it cannot do precisely the exact same thing that God will do for you. Yeah, it boils down to one thing, weight loss. It can boil down to diabetes being gone. Some diet plans out there helps people become less diabetic and even know about diabetes anymore. Some of them do. Vegetarian, vegan, all that. My husband is doing the Ray Down, and his blood sugar keeps dropping. It keeps coming down lower. And he's got to see the doctor today, and today wasn't his normal appointment, but he had to call the doctor the other day because his blood sugar dropped to the point he felt like he was going to faint. And he had already ate like onion rings and hamburger and spaghettis and all that, something that would really spike it up. And instead his blood sugar was down. And of course he's taken the Invocament, and that right there brings blood sugar down. So when he got home, he ate some cookies and some crackers to help raise his blood sugar back up. He also ate tater tots to bring his blood sugar back up. And when he tested his resting sugar yesterday, when he got up, it was still just 125. Amazing. So he's got to see the doctor today. The doctor wants to see him today because of what happened the other day. His numbers has been staying down close to 120. They haven't been going above 130. His numbers are coming down, and he's only doing the way down. He's still eating things that normally would push the blood sugar up. He's eating normal food, but he's only eating when he's hungry, and he's stopping when he's satisfied. He doesn't eat all of his meal. And so his blood sugar's coming down. And I am looking for the doctor to completely either remove him off of his medication, because he's only taking Invocament now, which is Invokana and Metformin. It's a combination into one pill. I'm looking for the doctor to either completely take him off of it or reduce him to just one pill a day instead of 2 a day. I'm looking for a wonderful praise report today when we go to see that doctor for him. A wonderful praise report. And I will give you the praise report tomorrow morning. I will tell you what the doctor done for him tomorrow morning. But I'm just letting you know, there's some things that a man-made diet will do for you, that God will do for you as well. But there is other things that a man-made diet just will never do for you, that God alone will. And I'm just saying, I'm not referring to any one person. I'm not referring to any one diet. I'm talking about any man-made diet. So no matter whoever watches this, don't think I'm pointing a finger to anybody. I'm saying any diet. And it's the fact. Because only God can do certain things. Nothing is impossible through Jesus Christ. And that's how it is. That's how it is. Nothing can change that. That's how it is. So, I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.